So the only thing we can do is the examples be the change. And hopefully people will choose to pick up on that and change their ways. It says it's been a pretty rough week. I had a very rough couple of days on my 3-day weekly this past week. I'm on day 31, I think it is. And the mashed are fashed. And we keep going. You never know what's coming up when you're digging at these levels. So you just continue, keep the faith, and use all the tools to get you by. It's a little bit more challenging when you have many people that you're guiding and helping and so on and so forth. It's a lot nicer being on the other side, asking people for help. But I never really had that, so I'm kind of used to it. How many people are doing master fasts? Anybody on the master fast? Yeah, you're on.
Yeah. Lavik, how are you? You're far and
I'm on day 46.
Nice.
Awesome.
Feeling really good.
Awesome.
On day 83 today.
Wow, beautiful.
Struggling, but I'll make it to 108. I can't do the longer drives today. My weekend dry fast was only 26 hours. It's
okay, man.
And I'm down to 100 pounds too, so.
It's okay, buddy. This is the part of the process, and most people will not go through these processes, as you know. We've seen a lot of people come and go, and we see a lot of people that will never even touch anything to do with what we're doing. So this is the state of the mind of most people. So, you know, you see what the majority of people do. They're going to go to their doctor or the hospitals and put the responsibility of their own health in somebody else's hands because they're not going to take that responsibility, and they have not, and they will not. And that's the sad case of most people, either through ignorance or by choice. The ignorance is a sad one. The choice, hey, everybody's got free will. If that's the way you want to go, so be it. But yeah, when it's family members, it's hard to see them going through all that crap and being slowly murdered, basically, by the so-called healthcare system that we so much rely on. But, you know, I've seen quite a bit, and I'm sure a lot of you have, family and friends, going through that stuff. Every second person pretty much has, if not more, has some kind of ailment or disease or whatever they label them. Probably 2 out of every 3 or maybe 4 out of every 5 persons on drugs, pharmaceuticals, street drugs. I think some of the street drugs are a lot safer than pharmaceuticals, but these days it's a lot of pharmaceuticals that are being sold on the street. Pretty sad. People are reaching out, trying to escape the reality that we live in, because emotion is seed of all disease. We keep talking about that, and we're going to really hit it home because a lot of you that are doing these long master fasts are realizing what's happening. It's all emotion. Physicality is nothing, absolutely nothing. It's the least of our worries. And people put too much focus on the physicality. we can work through the physicality to get to the emotion, and that's what we're doing. Because that's the only way we're going to solve our issues. How many stories we hear of people, doing a long master fast, been on Raw for a long time, and then they go back to cooked food. Now, why is that? Why is that? If you use your common sense, it's very clear. You can be on raw foods for 5, 10, 20 years. You're not going to go to the depths that we're going on master fast. You're not going to go to the memory of the cells unless you fast into these levels to reach those spots, to break them open, to release those emotions, to be healed. And this is why you hear people, a lot of people mention, oh, I never had a craving for chicken or for this rice or for this dish or for that dish. Years I haven't had this craving. All of a sudden these cravings come up when you're on these fasts. Just realize the depth of how deep we're digging. Every single bite, I've mentioned this before, I believe, every time we eat, doesn't matter what it is, but every time we eat, every single bite, we're attaching an emotion to that. It's all recorded, all within ourselves. So when somebody, has their meal, that's all completely recorded. There's nothing ever erased. Everything's recorded within our being, which is not physicality at all, because it has an unlimited capability of recording. 1,000 years, million years, billion years, no, there's no such thing as time. So every single aspect of our being is recorded. And we can access it at any time if we learn how to do that in practice. The amazing stories of people sharing, it only helps us all expand. This is why we want the good, the bad, and the ugly. We have, we're growing so fast now, and we're having issues that I really didn't want to deal with, but they've come to the surface, and they're going to have to be taken care of. I've taken steps, if you guys have noticed some of the notices I put up and so on and so forth, because we're dealing with trolls, we're dealing with people who want to distort and crack down and destroy the information that we're sharing. There's people who do not want to take responsibility and put the blame to somebody else. They're just looking for that. So I'm talking about legal crap, paper that everybody's enslaved to. Something I never really want to get involved with, but we have to go that route just like everybody else. Form a club. Everybody's into a club. When you're part of a club, we can discuss anything we want because we're not part of the public. We're in a private club. So if anybody wants to access these and listen to these videos, you need to be part of the club. Sorry, you have to be part of the club. Otherwise, you're what's the word I'm looking for? You're listening to them without valid authority from us, and you're not welcome, because we only want to be with people who are family oriented and want to share their whole experience so we can all learn and expand. And we're going to give people straight the reality of everything with Master Fast. A very high risk of death, just like everything else. We can't escape it. If you choose to use Master Fast as a lifestyle, you're probably going to die doing Master Fast as a lifestyle. So it's your choice if you want to take that risk. It's very high. A lot of people will die doing Master Fast, just as people die walking across the road, getting hit by a car, going to see their doctor, wrong prescription or right prescription, going to a hospital emergency for an ingrown toenail, come out in a body bag. Doctor's third leading cause of death. So we all have choices how we want to go. And, I'll probably be going in through the massive fast lifestyle. Cheers. So, these are the sad things that we need to discuss in our modern society of paper enslavement, money, and man's law. It's all about paper. It's pretty disgusting the way we've been enslaved. Unless humanity starts waking up, we're not going to see any end anytime soon. Most people are peaceful people, but the system that we live within puts a lot of people in very challenging, tough situations. And, if you put corner an animal in even a docile animal into a corner, they're going to fight back. They're going to fight back. So this is why we see so much crap in society. People are put into positions that normally, if it was, they were able to, eat and pay their bills and whatever, they wouldn't be in these situations. It's the stress factors and so on and so forth. Bodies full of toxins and waste and on and on and on and on. So the mind is not in balance, and think people do these things that they normally wouldn't do it, because most people want to live in peace. The powers that were, they've set it all up to keep our societies in a constant stress factor and keep everybody so busy they don't have time to think, and put them through the education system where they don't even teach them how to think. They just teach them how to record what they've been dictated and repeat it. And you can see that through how people talk to you when you're having conversations and how people ask questions and so on and so forth. There's no thought process. It's just monkey see, monkey do, tape recorder, parrot, whatever you want to call it. A lot of that comes from that. And we've all been gone, most of us have gone through that, unless you were homeschooled by your parents. It took me a long time to wake up out of that and figure out what exactly was going on. I don't know if anybody's familiar with the straw man that's been created when you're born, and they create a birth certificate for you. It's all in capital letters. It's not you. It's another fiction that's controlled, that they control through you, through the fiction. And it's an illegal contract, because most birth certificates are done before you're 18 years old. In most places, you have to be 18 to be able to engage in a valid contract in most societies. So they're doing everything fraudulently, and then they hold us to it with guns and paper. And this is the same thing with the medical health stuff. There's no difference, folks. It's the same thing. They've enslaved us in this system, and by force, we need to go their way. And if you don't do it, what do they do? If you have children and you feed them raw food, they come and take them away. How ridiculous is that? How ridiculous is that? So, anybody, trying to keep their children healthy, you should be quiet about it. Don't share it with anybody, because it's a pretty sad situation out there. You don't know who to trust anymore. I trust everybody unless they give me a reason not to, but I get bitten a lot. But, we need to have that trust, and because we all are part of one creation, and there's always a reflection of what's happening in our lives with other people within ourselves, and there's a lesson to be learned. So, it's sad, but crazy world we live in, and it's a beautiful world at the same time. So let's focus on the beautiful stuff. We get the crap out of the way. Anything you want to talk about? I ran out of things. Cheers again. Yeah, it's been a rough week for me. I'm still solving a lot of issues that I've done damage to. I've come a long way. corrected a lot of things, but you know, it's just a work in progress. There's no time. Every month and year goes by, it gets a little better, a little better, a little better. Once you've tasted a very high level of balanced health, you know, it's very addictive, and we always want to thrive for more and better and so on and so forth. That's the way I am anyway. It's much better than being sick and in severe pain. So many people are in pain, and it's not fun. Pain is not fun, but you know what? It's a great learning tool. It's a really great learning tool. When you got pain, you'll remember that pain forever. And we don't wish it on anybody else, that's for sure. So how do we deal with these emotions that keep coming up with everybody? Well, we need to recognize them for what they are. It's just an experience. And for some reason, we locked them up into our being and kept them there. And a lot of them cause imbalances because every thought is another field strength of plasma, basically. It's another form of energy. And, you know, if these energies are not in harmony, you find yourself unbalanced, imbalanced, and causing issues in physical matter state. Because the matter is one of the lowest forms, field strength of plasma, and that's how you manifest with these low field strengths. When you start going into the stronger field strengths, it goes above matter state, and that's where everything's happening. What we see in matter is so limited, very, very limited. Very narrow view window. You know, when man's looking at chemistry and mainstream science, they're looking through that very small window of the effects of what's actually happening. Our you know, knowledge of how to heal the body through mainstream science is, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not, you can't even put it in the dinosaur age, because the dinosaur age had intelligence. I don't know if I have a word for it. It's more of a thing where I see it. It was designed to control and to profit off us. It's another form of enslavement. So once we recognize it, we have choices. We want to stay within that system. Most of us, we're going to have to function within these systems, but we can limit ourselves how much we function within them. You know, I'd rather be talking to you guys than going out in society and having conversations that don't mean anything and don't go anywhere and don't add to my spirit. You know, maybe I can help somebody, and if I look at it that way, but a lot of energy vampires out there, and it's okay. We raise our field strength and we help balance. But sometimes we need a break for ourselves and get away from that. Somebody have a question? Yes, the mic open. So we're doing these weekly calls to help people support in their adventure to try and find some better balance in their life. I don't have all the answers. Nobody has to agree with everything I say, that's for sure. But, you know, we've learned a lot, and we brought things to the table that I've not seen anywhere else to be able to help people. And you know, there's some people that don't appreciate it, which is fine. They say, oh, I haven't learned anything new. Okay, well, you're all knowing. That's great. Thank you. I've learned a lot from you. If it was already on the table, how come nobody else has come up with it before? Wasn't time. Wasn't time. It's not that it's difficult. The process is very simple, but why it's working is a whole different story, and that just came to be in the last couple of years, and is why we're constantly being bashed because there's not an understanding of what we're doing for so many people, and that's okay. It's okay. We, like I said, Master Fast is not for everybody. It's I'm surprised how much it's grown. I never expected so many people to be interested in this, but I guess so many people are hurting so bad and for so many years. They're tired of being in that state and they want answers and they want to come out of it, you know, because it's not fun when you're in pain and so on and so forth, and nothing's functioning properly in the body. It's not a good experience to live in. You know, I remember when I was bedridden those 2 years, boy, oh boy. I can almost remember every single day. The extreme pain. I can't even explain the levels it was at. Out of 1 to 10, it was 15. Some days it was insane. But it was a beautiful experience because here we are today, you know, to be able to show people that, you know, it may last a day, a week, a few months, or a few years, but it's going to go away. And if it doesn't, you move on to the next realm. So you're still going to be without pain when you move on. You know, there's nothing wrong with moving on. Just change our body, leave our body behind and go on. No such thing as death. So many people are afraid of it and will blame everybody else for it. It's quite a ironic thing that people do, pointing fingers at others. The dirty laundry of Master Fast system. Unreal, unreal. So we keep moving along, we keep supporting. You know, we appreciate every single person that made whatever donation, doesn't matter what it is, we really appreciate it. You know, so over 2 years I did it, brought it, all the information for absolutely nothing. There's already people opening their own pages, using all our information, and that's an issue for us, for liability, and so on and so forth. And that's why we've taken the steps we've taken. It would have never happened if a few of these things didn't come to be. But you know, we're dealing with imbalanced minds that are here to take, and we'll allow them to take up to a degree, because they need to have an expression of experience for that, to learn some kind of lesson we don't understand, but everything is exactly the way it should be, or they wouldn't be doing it. The organic versus non-organic. That's been brought up today. If you put your energy on that, it's going to be an issue for you. I've done so much research on these things. You cannot really buy anything that's so-called organic on this planet, pretty much. The whole planet's contaminated by man. The organic movement has become an industry, and it's sad because there's so much fraud in it as well. And like I mentioned, I'll be first in line to completely ban all man-made chemicals to be allowed to grow any food with. There shouldn't be any allowed, none, zero. It's ludicrous what they're doing. So I'll be first in line, and I'll support that. But it's an industry just like anything else, like the cancer industry and all the other industries, banking industry, they're all industries. And they're all for profit. There was a guy named Misha, I can't remember his name. He was bashed so much. I think he's out of Vancouver. I communicated a little bit with him many years ago. He was trying to change the organic certification instead of the way it is, where they come and they certify you and you pay a fee, and then every year they come and check your books and so on and so forth. So it's an ongoing income for them. He was pushing for, throw all that out, one test every time you sell a yield, one test to the lab. Cut out all that expense. And the organic industry bashed the hell out of them because it would make their existence null and void. How is that? So you want to trust that industry? I'll only buy organic if it's the same price or less. Otherwise, I have never, ever concentrated on buying organic myself. But like I said, everything should be grown organic. It should not be allowed to grow foods with chemicals. Now, with the plasma space technology, I've spoken about this before. We have all the solutions. If you're contaminated with radiation, we can wash it off with CO2 GANS materials, just by soaking in a bathtub of it. These tests have all been done. If you soak a GMO seed in CO2 GANS water, it'll revert back to its original strain. I've talked about this before. If you have water that's contaminated and you use GANS materials and nanomaterials, you can clean that water to pristine drinking water again. So, if you have contaminated foods that are laced, you can bring them back to balance again by soaking them in GANS material, washing them with ozone. Baking soda also helps. Now, people are arguing about buying organic juice and non-organic juice. Number one, from research I've done many years ago, when you're juicing produce, even contaminated produce, for some reason, all the contaminants are not brought through the juice. Some are, but not all of them. Much less is in the juice than the whole fruit or vegetable. Secondly, we're doing things to bring them to higher order. We're cooking, or we're buying them cooked. And then we're creating an interaction through adding another substance, either raw or cooked lemon, to create a gradient and have a field interaction. So you're creating things that most people are not focusing on. They're focusing on this as a juice fast. And Master Fast is not a juice fast, folks. We use cooked juice. It's one of the things we use, but it's not a juice fast. And everybody, not everybody, A lot of people miss the boat on what Master Fast is. Master Fast is not a juice fast. And the people who go and use cooked juice with the lemon as a juice fast, they're going to be in trouble, as I've experienced. And you want to increase your risks? Use the cooked juice as a juice fast and don't take anything else. Master Fast is not a juice fast. It's a system, and all parts are crucial. So what tools do we have to redirect our focus on balancing instead of the negative area of, oh, I got to buy organic. The organic, otherwise all the chemicals are going to bother me. How do we redirect that and solve these issues with the juice? Well, we got many things we can do. You can use magnets also help bring things to balance to some degree. If you have a magnet, you can put your juice on magnet because it's got a gravitational magnetic field. That's why they use magnetic therapy. If you've ever heard about it. I don't know if anybody's tried, you put magnet in certain areas of the body, you got pain, and it helps the pain. I've used them for years. Did a lot of research on magnet. There was a fellow named Dr. Philpott who did many, many research, and I've spoken to him briefly when he was in his 90s. I think he's passed now. And he did so many years of research on magnet therapy. I think it was Philpott, if I remember correctly. I may be mistaken. He was one of the main guys on magnet therapy. And back then, we didn't understand plasma and really did not have an understanding of why it worked. But now we do. You got the gravitational magnetic field. It takes from your body what you don't need, and your body takes from it what it needs to bring balance. All it's doing. So if you have a magnet, any magnet, old speaker magnet, computers have magnets, the hard drives have magnets. I mean, you can find magnets anywhere these days. The best ones to use that mimic plasma the best are donut magnets, meaning a round with a hole. Those are the best to use. If you can get any magnet, that would be the best. So you can put your juice on that if you want to keep your mind at ease. And leave it on there, in the fridge. Just leave the magnet on there. So next day when you drink it, it's changed. You'll be able, if you can do it with water, you'll change it. You'll taste the difference in the water. It becomes more velvety, more smooth. I've used magnets on water and many other things for years. So you can do that with the juice. If you're playing with plasma, the burnt stick we have. If you got wooden utensils, start burning them all. The spoons and everything. Honestly, just burn them. And every time you're stirring things and everything, you're bringing balance to them. So get yourself a burnt stick, burn the whole thing, throw it in your juice, leave it there overnight. We're doing it with nanomaterials. We can go that route if you like. You can do it with nanomaterials, get some copper and nanocoat it. A little more of a process, but the burnt stick works well too. So you can do that. You can do that and the magnet. If you have any GANS materials, you can get some of the liquid plasma, which is the water that we've energized through the GANS materials, to bring it to a higher order and put that, a few drops of that in the juice as well. You can do all of them. You can do them all. And then the most powerful out of all of them, which is behind what we're doing anyway, is your intent and emotion, because we are made out of GANS material. We are in a plasmatic state. We've been all duped. Our whole body's in a GANS state. We don't have any water in our body. No, none. Anything that enters any orifice, whether it's through the skin, nose, eyes, anus, wherever, body transforms it, puts it into a plasmatic state, because there's field interactions happening all the time within the air and so on. If you're sitting in a bath, your body's not absorbing water physically. It's being done plasmatically because we're in a GANS state. It's not what we've been taught. If somebody's really dehydrated or some issue like that, you go soak in the ocean for a while and you're going to feel better because you're having a plasmatic interaction with the water and all those elements in the ocean. These are things that most people are not looking at or don't have a clue about. They're only focusing on the matter state. Oh, the food was grown with chemicals. It's going to kill me. It's poison. I feel the reactions and so on and so forth. Yeah, if you focus on them, that's where your intent and emotion is. And as I just said, the most powerful is intent and emotion. This is how we control and direct and create plasma. This is how creation works. All done through intent and emotion. Starts with a thought, then your intent and emotion. Bang, you produce a plasma. You guys can practice with your hands, producing plasma balls. If you practice enough, you'll start being able to feel the energy within your hands. You'll feel the energy. It could either be cool, or it could be warm or hot. Depends what you're focusing on. And if you practice with other people, you can start passing the plasma to other people. And that'll be an excellent, excellent way to practice on how to improve your intent and emotion to direct plasma and create anything you want in the unlimited, ever-expanding universe of abundance. When I see people talking about they got no money for herbs, I just have to go, my God, they can't put $10 a day aside? Where are we at? Where's the focus at? What are they eating? How are they living? How are they surviving? I don't know. I spend nothing on food anymore. It's a joke. So these are the few things we can do if we're worried about that. If you're buying organic, I would suggest you do all the things I suggested anyway, because you don't know if it's true organic anyway. Almost 50% of organic food is contaminated with chemicals, pesticides, etc., etc. I put up an article today. It's been around a long time. We've known this. They may be less, but it's still contaminated. So what are you paying for? You're paying to support an industry that cannot be true, is what I'm trying to convey to you people. The original idea of the organic movement is wonderful, but we live in a society that we're enslaved by paper, and that's the issue. That is the issue that we have to deal with. It's sad, but we have to deal with it because we still use paper, and out there's not much you can do without it. Until humanity all at once says, we don't need paper anymore. When that day comes, banks will be abolished, governments will be abolished, there'll be peace on this planet. It can happen in an instant. That quick. Everybody has to agree, and it's a done deal. So simple, but look at what most of humanity chooses: to be enslaved. It's a choice. Think about how simple that change can happen. Instant.
Well, we're not going to agree altogether, are we?
That's the problem.
Well, you don't have to. You create your own reality.
Well, we create our own reality, but we're living within the reality of the masses, which is run by paper.
Yeah.
And that's the challenge, but we could live our own reality within that structure. I'm saying how nice it would be if everybody, this second, we're done with paper. Meaning all money, all man-made laws, this and that. Everybody instantly would be in peace. Animals would stop eating each other. We wouldn't need food anymore. Everything would switch so quick. That's how fast it could happen. Whether you believe it or not, I know it can happen. I have no doubt.
Gino?
Yeah.
This is Karthik. This is first time for me.
How you doing?
Good. Yeah, so I have... sorry?
Where are you from?
Currently, I'm in California. Basically, I'm from India.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been following our page for last 2 months.
Excellent.
Yeah, so I just want to share a story. I just decided to start Master Fast yesterday after a long time. I was also confused with the pasteurized juice with the raw, and also I have some of the concerns about when you mentioned about this organic stuffs, and also when you said the blood is a source system. So that was all. That gave me a lot of concerns. Yeah. So yesterday I was so tired after coming from office, like as usual. Then I bought the organic grapes from Trader's Joe, and I added lemon. I just had a sip of it, and I was feeling like Superman.
What do you mean, organic grapes? You juice them?
No, grape juice.
No, I just got it from the store.
Oh, the juice. Okay.
Yeah, I got it from the store, and I added lemon, and I had a sip of it, and I had a lot of energy immediately.
On your first day?
Yeah, so it was, yeah, I didn't even start the MFS. I just wanted to test the juice. How is it? I just had a sip of the juice, and it gave me a lot of energy immediately. So then I started believing. Then I decided, okay, I should start MFS. So my main concern was lack of energy. So that's what I was bit. I was a bit afraid of starting MFS.
A lot of things change when you start doing this and you start digging. I've explained it many times. When you're fasting in general, any fast, things can change from one to the other within a second. Meaning you can feel amazing 1 second, and next second you're feeling like you're going to die, or you feel like you're going to die 1 second, and then you feel amazing after you have a release. These are things that you have to understand of how and why and who and where and so on and so forth, the functions of the body on the universe and nature's operating table. You know, a lot of people get on these fasts and they feel great most of the time. And some people, they're so imbalanced, they start having severe detoxification issues, healing reactions, whatever you want to call it. Like I just had, past couple of days, it was pretty challenging, but it's okay. I pulled through, no problem. These are the things you have to understand, and you have to keep the faith. And if you don't have that understanding, you'll blame this and you blame that and you blame the other thing and everything else. It's a simple understanding. You either understand and have the faith and the trust in the universal nature's operating table, or you don't.
Yeah, but whatever you said about non-organic or the chemicals in the juice, it doesn't matter.
I never buy organic, guys.
Yeah, but it's a bit confusing because even those chemicals have some consciousness, right? They should. What happens, like when you said like that we are changing the state of the juice, right? So then what happens to the chemicals in the juice then?
What happens to the chemicals in the juice? Same thing that happens to anything else when we introduce plasma to them. They find their balance.
But how do we know that, whether it's in balance or unbalanced?
Well, you don't have to. You can concentrate on going to buy your organic if that's where your trust, your faith is at. If you trust that system, the organic system, go there. But what I'm telling you, the information I'm bringing, is even that is contaminated most of the time. So what I'm saying is, mentally prepare yourself to use the tools and the solutions we have to neutralize these things, because we have solutions. All this new plasma space technology has been brought to us is new. The information's out there for the people who choose. It's not mainstream science. If you're looking for mainstream science to give you the answers, you're on the wrong page.
No, it's not about the mainstream science. So so you are saying that we should avoid. So first thing is we should buy organic, right? Because at least we will avoid.
I don't. If you want, Buy organic by all means. I support you.
Okay.
Yeah, we have done organic and non-organic. I've done non-organic for,
She buys organic. Here, Black River.
yeah.
Organic. I don't buy organic. I buy the Newmans or Welch's. I'm cheap.
Yeah, I used to buy Welch's for months on my first master fast, and it was totally fine. They both work. I got so much waste out, so much mucus out. So they both work.
The other thing you need to understand, when you put your body into a fast, a true fast, where there's no digestion as we're doing, the body goes into an elimination mode. This is where you need to read Arnold Ehret's Mucusless Diet and Rational Fasting. We have both files on the Facebook file section that you can read for free. I highly recommend everybody read those books. Great information. And he was another one that, if you read his books, he was not a raw food fanatic. He called raw food as fanatics back then in the early 1900s. Because he had an understanding of what most people don't have today. And that was the first book that turned me from meat eating to vegetarian, vegan, and so on and so forth to where I am now. That very good information in there. So, you know, when you're in an elimination mode, which is on nature's operating table, even if you introduce chemicals in the body is not going to hold on to them because it's already working on eliminating the deep-rooted crap that we already have in our body. It's in an elimination mode.
Yeah.
And this is why you see people losing so much weight, some people, actually going to skin and bones. Why is the body doing that? Because it was built on so much poor materials, it's going to dump everything it can when it's in this mode continuously until it says, okay, and then it could start building. And on this fast, if you go long enough, you may go to skin and bones. Not everybody will. You may go to skin and bones. Eventually, you stay on it longer, 6, 10 months, whatever. Eventually, you will start building up if your intent and emotion is in the right place, maybe sooner. On the same thing, we have somebody experiencing that. We have somebody. So, you need to understand, or you choose to understand, that you can give the chemicals power over you or not. Or you use the solutions that I've suggested to eliminate those, and the most powerful one is intent and emotion. If you watched or listened to Dr. Emoto's work about water, fabulous stuff. He passed away, God rest his soul. He brought forth that with thought we can change water, only with thought. And he proved it through being able to photograph the crystals of water. And he would photograph them before and then after, either by thought or just writing a word of love or hate on a paper and then putting the bottled water on it for whatever, 24 hours, and then they would photograph it again. Completely change the crystallite. It's like a snowflake. If you guys haven't seen it, you can look up his work. Just with your thought and emotion. So, you know, if we can do that, everything is possible, folks. You can go the route that, be it in fear, because of what mainstream science telling us, oh, we got all these chemicals in the food and so on and so forth. You should buy organic, but organic's got chemicals anyway.
So you know, we understand that actually.
Yeah.
So,
Or we go into the faith that we can change anything. Let me ask you one thing. Where do chemicals come from?
I mean, they made it, right? They combine, they create it, right? Humans create the chemicals, right?
From where?
Organic. Material.
Everything that comes from the earth?
Uh-huh.
Okay. If they can create these extracts from the whatever materials they use from the earth, do you not think you can change it back?
But we are not changing it, right? Who is changing it? We are not changing that, right?
I just explained through your intent and emotion. Yes, you can. If you don't want to believe it, it's okay. It's okay.
No. It's not just about our intent and emotions, because once we consume it, it's still going into a body, right? Even if you don't believe it or not, it's still inside the body, right?
If you've changed it through your intent and emotion, is it still going in your body? If it's changed, it's changed.
He's talking physically. You're talking.
I'm talking energetically. Physically, matter don't matter, folks. This is where a lot of people don't understand what Master Fast is. Not about matter. Matter don't matter. We're working with fields. And if you don't believe it, I can't help you. But it's okay.
No,
Buy organic, if that's what you believe. But I'm telling you, you're still going to have the same problem. Less, but it's still there. So how are you going to deal with that?
Yeah, it's less.
I believe in plasma. I believe in energy. So I still also believe in chemicals can cause. I still believe it's always better to be organic.
Okay, that's fine.
I just want to. Why don't you just say that organic is better than non-organic?
50% of the time, it'll be better. The other 50%.
What is the other 50%?
There's studies that show almost 50% of the organic food is contaminated. It's pesticides.
Yeah, so if it is not contaminated, it's better, right?
If you say so, yeah.
No, I'm asking you. If it is not contaminated, it's better, right?
I don't look at matter. For me, it doesn't matter. For you, yeah, it's okay. For me, it doesn't matter. It's what I'm telling you guys. I buy chemicals because they don't matter to me. I'm at a different state. I do not allow chemicals to interfere with my being. I think maybe I'm not conveying the message properly. It's okay that if you want to buy organic, and it's okay. We support the organic industry, but I'm not looking at matter for myself. I'm just sharing what I do and how I live my life. I've never bought organic.
Yeah,
almost never.
We still wash the fruits and vegetables with ozonated water.
You can.
Yeah. So you are obviously in a different state, but for us, right? For all of us, it's always better to buy organic.
Doesn't matter.
Right?
Yeah, it's up to you.
It's up to you guys.
Do what you feel makes you feel better.
Some people can't afford organic. So what are we going to tell them? Oh, you can't do it because you can't buy organic?
I would rather
when you have an understanding of what Master Fast is, matter don't matter. It's going to work anyway. We have so many amazing health recovery stories, and they were using organic. So what are we talking about here? Oh, it didn't work. It was an illusion because they were drinking chemicals. It couldn't have worked. It's impossible. You see where I'm going? It's if you can afford organic and you feel more comfortable with organic, by all means, go for organic. But I'm not going to be telling people you have to buy organic.
There's another thing, when we eat raw foods, most people who eat raw food do not buy everything organic. It's impossible to buy all the fruits organic. So, and we like to eat fruit, right? Most of the food is fruit that we eat when you eat raw food. And so these people do not concentrate on the organic. If you get into raw foods, you're not going to buy organic. It's almost impossible all year long, right? I would still rather eat non-organic fruit over, let's say, organic grains. It's much less toxic. There's no question.
Over here, we can pay like $4 for a mango, and it's not even organic. When you get it, organic, it gets insane.
So I understand all those things. So the point is, it's better to be organic. If it's not possible, it's also okay to have non-organic. Is that right?
Do what you can. Clean up your fruits and vegetables. Whatever.
Do everything we suggested.
If I think better buying organic juice, I buy organic juice.
It makes you feel better. Do it. Because you don't want to have that in your thought. Oh, I can't afford organic. Maybe this is not good for me. If you're going to do that, don't do Master Fast.
Yeah, the juice works, organic or non-organic. That's for sure.
What people are experiencing is an illusion of their belief system, creating it into matter and manifesting it. Doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, at the end, it's your choice. You choose what you want, of course.
It's all's good. All's good. Even if you're organic, folks, do everything I suggested to wash it all. You're bringing it to a higher order, bio state. You're bringing it back into balance. Taste the difference before and after. You can taste differences when you use your intent and emotion to bring things to a more balanced state. You'll taste the difference. You will taste the difference. Let's do a test. What's good to use? I don't know, any kind of fruit that you can taste the big difference. Usually a tomato is pretty good.
Grapes.
Or grapes or something. You'll get a tomato or something, cut it in half, separate it. And if you have 2 or 3 people, on the half that's cut, one of the halves, you all concentrate on a pure love with all your intent and emotion to bring that tomato and its beauty back to balance. And then cut it and taste it, and then go taste the other half. Do these experiments. Emoto shared the rice to test experiment, if you guys know about it. You cook some rice, you split it in 3 jars, I think it was. Same rice. 1, 2, 3, separate them. One you write hate, and you stick it on the jar. You close it, seal it. One you write love, seal it. And when you don't do anything, you ignore it, and you keep them separate. And every day, you go to each jar, and the one that says hate, you say, I hate you. The one you say love, says love, you say, I love you. And the one that says nothing, you ignore it. Do that experiment for 40 days and let us know what happens.
Yeah, actually, even I learned about energy, how to feel energy. It's simple actually. Even we can do it now itself. Just it takes a minute to feel the energy. If you want, I can show the experiment. We all can do it. It's simple.
Of course.
You
Sure.
can just say that you can just keep 2 hands like this. Have a deep breath for three deep abdominal breath.
3 deep abdominal breaths.
Yeah. One left hand, say love for 5 times to the left hand. To the right hand, say hate for 5 times.
I can already feel it.
And now you weigh the 2 hands. What's the observation? Which hand weighs more?
The right is heavier.
Uh-huh.
The right is heavier.
Yeah. Do you feel?
I said as soon as I started saying hate, I felt the difference to the energy-wise. But this is what I'm saying. This is what we're talking about. We can remain stuck in matter and concentrate on all that stuff that everybody's in fear of, or we can move ourselves into higher field strength and not worry about any of that stuff because it doesn't really matter.
But even matter creates thoughts and emotions, right? Because the food we eat, which gives us, it changes the thought actually, right? So it changes our thoughts, even the food what we eat.
It only affects our thoughts because we allow it through our thought, through our intent and emotion.
No, it even affects our intent, right? So the food which we eat affects our thoughts, even it totally emotions, intent, everything, right?
We're allowing it. We're taking the bite. We have to have a thought and emotion to go eat it first.
Yeah, right. So once it goes in, it controls our thoughts, right?
Yeah.
So
matter is created through higher strengths of plasma to manifest into matter, not the other way around. We can use matter, but it's always done through thought and emotion to create higher strengths of plasma as well. There's no right or wrong. Everything is correct. It's a different understanding that we're all going to come to, and it's as vast as the universe, this knowledge. So, you know, we're all learning, and the more we share, the more we expand, and this is the beauty. I'm just sharing my point of view of the way I feel, and trying to allow you guys to bring yourselves to a higher field strength to not worry about that stuff. You know, if you're growing all your own food, beautiful. Give it all the love, energy, and you'll see the taste is much better. Because this is all done through thought and intent and emotion. I'll give you another example. You know, over the years, buying organic foods or conventional foods, sometimes you buy the organic food and it's much better tasting. And then other times, I'll buy the conventional food and the conventional tastes better than the organic. So you have to think, what's going on here? You have to have an understanding. Who grew the food? How do they grow the food? You know, what intent and emotion did they have? How do they take care of their field, even though they were using chemicals? Who touched it on its delivery to the store and so on, the warehouse and so on to you? Everything has an effect because matter doesn't matter. This is what I'm going to share with you guys. So we're going beyond what we only can see. We're working with energy, which is the beauty. And we can, you know, expand ourselves to not allow this stuff to affect us. If there's that one doubt.
So, yeah. So sometimes it's, like we understand that we are dealing with energies, and we understand even the matters gives thoughts energy. Even the matters creates thoughts. It affects our emotions. And what happens is sometimes when you say it, it's a bit confusing, right? Sometimes when you talk about plasma, and when you say totally matter doesn't matter, I think it's confusing because we feel that even the small chemicals, whatever it is, right? It has its energy field. It has its right. So why don't you just say that it's better to eat or something which has good energy field, right? It's better to avoid something like chemicals, which has.
I'm going to say that, you know, the human being doesn't need to eat food. And I'm not there yet, but there's people that are living on no food, no physical foods. So
I just like, if that is the case, then why a baby need a food after it's born? If you don't give food for the baby, it's going to die, right?
Okay. The parents, what are they doing? They've brought this being, right, with their intent and emotion together, and they're conveying their belief system into this being before it's even born. Before it's even born. So, if that baby doesn't get fed, of course it's going to die. Now, if we look at the mother's milk, even in the matter state, it's in a high GAN state. There's not much in there, and the baby can grow on it for, you know, months, years, you know, just on milk. Or you look at any other animal. You know, I made the example of the bear. The bear is a huge animal. It fasts for 7 months of the year. Look how big it is. It's our belief system is the only thing that holds us back. And, you know, you can go to Africa and say the same thing, all these children that are starving. Why are they in this condition? Because, you know, white man from the West sends them rice and potatoes, whatever. There's just, you know, obstructive foods that these people are barely living on, and just plugs them up and plugs them up and plugs them up. You know, and they try to fast, they ain't going to go anywhere. When you got a body full of obstructions, this is all the challenges we're having. We're trying to remove these obstructions. You know, trying to go on a dry fast with a body full of obstruction is not fun. And a lot of people will not make it if that's what they're trying to do just with dry fasting. You need to have some kind of clean diet and start cleaning out some of those obstructions. This is why, you know, we're getting such amazing results with people, because we focus on cleaning the GI tract with so much focus on that GI tract in the matter state. Get rid of the obstructions as much as we can. So all the fields start interacting much better, and then we can get into the dry fasting and see the beauty and the magic and the miracles that can happen in dry fast, because that's where the true healing really happens. Yeah, you'll get, if somebody does the master fast and they don't do, let's say they do the master fast, but they leave out the dry fasting part. Just they'll take their herbs and this and that. They're going to still get benefit because you're giving the digestive system a long rest. But the dry fasting, master fast is a glorified dry fast. It revolves around dry fasting. That's the design, how it's made. That's the way it's put together. The juice fasting is just the part that helps us wash out all the crap that the dry fasting loosens up and the body's trying to get rid of. It makes it easier, because our bodies are full of all these obstructions that are not natural. They're not natural, according to, whatever, all the chemicals and this and that and so on and so forth, and foods that we're not supposed to eat. We're all obstructed with all these things that the body's going, what is this stuff? So it just locks it up and puts it deep in our tissues and fat. So, for the body to get rid of this stuff, it's not an easy task. It's not an easy task if we using nature's operating table on its own. It's not an easy task. Ask anybody who's done water fasts from a sad diet how challenging it is. We've had so many people that they swear they're never going to do a water fast again that are on the master fast or have done the master fast, because it's so hard on your system, because water is an aggressive substance and so strenuous on the kidneys. Nobody filters on a water fast. Nobody has kidney filtration. They still heal because it's a kind of an awkward dry fast, water fast. Actually, that's what it actually is. And why I say that is because water dehydrates you at the cellular level faster than anything. And the evidence is everybody's been drinking water for a long time and everybody's sick.
Somebody's asking, if matter isn't the case, that could even mean that eating even fast food,
You got
fast
it.
food with good intent and emotions, we could still be healthy.
There's people living on sad diets, 100 years old. How are they doing it, folks? And then there's people who are dying in teenage years of heart attacks. What's the difference? Same diet. A little bit of genetics come into play. The emotion intent is the main thing. There will be some people who'll be able to eat a sad diet and be pretty healthy, because they have the strong intent and emotion. And usually these people are not big eaters. They're small eaters. Because their intent and emotion is what's driving them. It's not the physical foods. And they know, energetically, they know this stuff. So we have a lot of things that we can work with. We don't have all the answers, but what I'm just conveying is we need to look at energy that we can see, which is much more important, and much more powerful. Whoa, way more powerful. So getting back to the baby, like drinking on mother's milk, a cow drinking milk, look how big it gets in 1 year. How is it doing it? It's in a semi-matter state, the milk. It's in a GAN state.
The only thing we know is that we don't know anything.
Exactly. The more we know, the more we don't know. That's all I keep finding. The more we know, the more we don't know. It's a beautiful experience that we all learn. So I don't have all the answers, folks, but I'm just sharing that we in order to expand, we got to look beyond matter state. That's why I say matter doesn't matter. If we keep focusing on matter, then matter will matter. So
Karthik is asking, are the herbs organic?
which ones? The ones we have? Yeah, all organic or wildcrafted. Yep.
Okay.
I got my little batch here.
Robert, you have a question. It's pretty long. Why does the source that keeps us alive runs out of juice and lets us die?
Well, the physical body passes, but our energies never does. You can't create or destroy energy. It's only transformed.
they can keep cells alive in petri dishes virtually for ever.
Yeah.
Forever, yet our bodies still die.
Yeah.
If we die means our cells went extinct. Not
When the cells start dying within our body, it's just they're not able to find a balance with field interactions around them, and it shuts them off, and the energy goes to other cells or whatever. So what's the factor behind all that is our intent and emotion. Always, always, always. That's what drives and creates and so on and forth and controls plasma. Intent and emotion. When you make a choice to do master fast, it's your intent and emotion. When for somebody who has the drive to create a business and make lots of money, it's intent and emotion. Buy a new car, it's intent and emotion. Invent something, create something, it's intent. Everything's behind intent and emotion. Create a drawing, intent and emotion. We're going to always go back to that. It's always a thought, and intent, and emotion to follow through and create it.
Parthik is asking, can we release toxins with intent and emotions?
Of course you can.
Instead of pudding?
Instead of what?
Pudding?
Pudding? I'm not going to recommend that in my master fast. That has a reason. That's the other thing, okay? We're in this strong elimination mode on master fast. We have herbs to aid us, to keep the doors of the glands and the organs open and the bowels moving. We have the plasma pudding, which has got activated charcoal and clay and the psyllium. What is activated charcoal? When you get poisoned and you go to the hospital, what do they give you? Activated charcoal. It's not working through physical. I've mentioned this before. It's working through plasmatic fields to bring balance to that toxin. It's changing it. It's not absorbing it physically. This is the misunderstanding that we have and what we've been taught. We're missing the bigger picture of what's really going on. So you're ingesting chemicals from commercially grown Concord grape juice or whatever. You have all these tools in place, along with the body being in an elimination mode to support and help neutralize the chemicals that are in the juice. Do you see where I'm going? There's a lot of things in place in Master Fast to allow things to move along and give us the results. Will it help everybody? Of course not. People will die. We can't save the world. A lot of people that are sick do not want to be healed, folks. Look around you. Do people want to change even their diets? No. They'll go to the doctor, get their chest split open, or bypass instead of changing their diet. There you go.
Somebody's asking, have you heard of bioresonance therapy?
Yeah, is that like the SKIO computerized thing?
It's in a... You can talk if you want, with frequency.
Yeah. I know two friends. One of them passed. He passed when we were doing the high fat thing. He passed away. He had one. We were getting right into this. We were doing a lot of experiments with it and everything. They're nice tools for diagnosing. For they're not allowed in Canada anymore. They made them illegal. So for seeing what's your problem and all the imbalances, they were about 80% accurate in some people. Very nice little tools, and you can do it anywhere. The person doesn't have to be with you. You can do it remotely. We use that a lot. And I have another friend of mine. She still has it. She doesn't use it a lot. There's a lot of time involved when you're working with people on these things. It'll take you 2, 3. You can work for hours and hours on one person. It's too time consuming. And it's, what are you going to charge somebody? So she's even moved away from that, using it. If you want to play with that, go for it. We got simpler things to use. Just fast. Costs you very little.
Yeah, and I said he worked with 3 different machines.
Yeah, there's different companies making them, I believe now.
Okay. And Karthik, you're asking why boil the kidney tea? Why not in metal?
You can.
You can.
Do the best you can. The energy of metal will affect things just like the energy of any element affects things. So again, do the best you can, situation you're in, use your intent and emotion. I use like the ceramic type, sometimes I use metal. I don't really worry about it anymore, but a lot of people do, so I do these recommendations, and so it's always up to you, yeah. There's many options. We do the best we can in the situation we're in. That's all we can do. Like we said before, there's some people, they say they can't afford herbs. I don't know. They can't afford to be on the master fast. It's something very strange to me. Because this is in Toronto here, the prices of food, fruits and stuff is insane. So, living on the master fast for about $10 a day, way cheaper. And then when you dry fast, it's free. So as you build up over the years, you're going to have a lot of days that you don't pay anything for eat and to survive. It's just that simple. But you got to work your way up there and take it one day at a time. We don't want to be heroes on our first master fast and try pushing these long dry fasts. I don't advocate that. We have ranges for a reason.
Okay, let's ask if somebody has a question.
Yeah. Anybody wants to speak? Forever hold your peace. We're just scratching the surface, folks, on this plasma stuff. We're just scratching the surface. We ain't seen anything yet. You can do your own experiments. The people, Mr. Kesh, the way he's been teaching this stuff and all the energy and expense he's gone to get this information out there, and it's being interpreted in I don't know how many languages now, and so on and so forth. And he's being bashed left, right, center. He cracked down one of the biggest pedophile rings, and he still gets bashed left, right, and center. And he's working on cracking another pedophile ring, and he still gets bashed left, right, and center. Because with 1 nanoparticle on a GANS material, if you can tap into that energy source, which has the potential of the sun, 1 nanoparticle, you can power this whole planet without any effort. That's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. And our generation, my age and so on, we're too old. We may not grasp it totally. This is all for the new generation coming, the children and so on and so forth, that will grasp this better than anything because they have not been conditioned like we have. So their mind is wide open to this stuff. Just like if you think about children who start playing the video games nowadays, like they're doing things, holy man, you try and do it, you can't do anything near what they do. It's the same thing. They've grown up in that virtual world, which is the spirit world in a sense, as we're speaking now. So that's what the plasma technology is for. We're just playing with it, and hopefully we'll see a lot more coming. Which it's expanding all the time. And it's just beautiful what's happening. I explained about them injecting tumors with GANS water from CO2. Nothing happens for several hours. And then all of a sudden, bang, all the cancer cells are completely disappeared. It's because this is how positioning plasma takes place. If you understand how the planets are moving and they're holding their positions continuously and moving, they have no engine, no fuel, no wings, no nothing, but they're continuously moving. Just like the atoms with the proton, neutron, everything, continuously, there's all moving. Where are they getting that energy, folks? They're not going to the gas station and filling up. There's an infinite supply of energy, just like our bodies. We're running on very minute levels of voltage. All this energy continuously moving, breathing. It's not from food. That's an illusion. All this energy. We can tap into it. We've been conditioned that we need matter to keep us going, and that's our problem. That's our challenge that we need to overcome. It's only a challenge. And slowly but surely, by doing the master fast is a way that you're going to train yourself to smash these false belief systems, because what are we doing? We're dry fasting. And we keep expanding the dry fasting. We get more and more comfortable with our discomfort doing these dry fasts. And every time we do, we go a little more, and then the next time maybe a little less, and then the next time a little more, and so on and so forth. But after you do you break your first long master fast and you start eating, I highly advocate start pushing the dry fast more when you're eating. Don't lose that. And continue doing that. And then you're going to see your belief system and your confidence and your trust is going to go up and up and up. And you go on to your next master fast, and you're going to be doing even more. And eventually, doing from 1 day a week, you go to 2 days a week, maybe in a year or two, and then in maybe 2-3 years. It doesn't matter how long. You might go to 3 days a week, and maybe one day you might go to 4 days a week. This is what I'm talking about. You're part-time breatharian. Part-time breatharian, whatever you want to call it. You're living on prana, plasma, which is basically the nitrogen in the air in a plasmatic state is where we get our energy from. Not air, not oxygen, sorry.
So Karthik is asking again, difference between supper glands and endocrine. Supper glands versus
Super.
Supper 12, right? That's supper.
The gland, between the glands and the endocrine?
Yeah,
They're very similar ingredients. One of the glands formula has deer antler. A lot of people don't like deer antler. So you can go to the doctor. We could make a vegan version if people don't want deer antler.
So the endocrine is vegan?
And endocrine has beet propolis. We can make that a vegan too. I've made a lot of formulas vegan friendly for people who want them. You just have to mention you want vegan. There's a few things that have deer antler in.
Which one to buy for what? Any specific reason to buy any of that, like either to go with glands or endocrine?
It's just a choice. We have over 60 formulas, but the kits that we've designed is for MasterClass. And the 12 will cover most people's issues, 80-90%. They'll cover most people's issues. When we do consultations and stuff, somebody has severe issues, we'll change a few, maybe add a few, depending on what situation they're in. The 9 is what I would recommend minimum for anybody to start. The 12 is excellent coverage.
Even in the 12, which one to choose? Like in the 12, there are 2 options, right? One is
glands or the endocrine, either one. Endocrine.
Which one do you prefer? I
like the glands myself. I like the deer antler. I like the energy of the deer antler myself. I always use the deer antler. But the endocrine is a great formula as well. No, choice. The liver, we can substitute it for pancreas if somebody has more of a pancreas issue, but they both have both herbs in them. They have pancreas and they have liver. We have different kidney formulas. But what I found, folks, this is what I found. And working with myself and other people, when you're taking herbs and you're eating, what happens with the body is it uses the herbs more of a food than a medicine. And then if you take them for a while, the body gets used to them and they don't have any effect. This is why we share, don't waste your money on herbs when you're eating, folks. When you fast, load up on as many as you can. That's where you're going to get your biggest bang for your buck. What we found is when you're fasting and you're taking herbs, your body doesn't get used to them. How magic is that? You can take the same ones for 3, 4, 5, 6 months, and they still work. I can speak for our herbs. I'm not speaking for anybody else. I've spoken about our herbs before. Listen, folks, I can comfortably say these are the best tinctures in the world. No ifs, ands, or buts. The process we use, I can't share with you. It's a very unique process that took many years, my friends experimenting. there's nothing that comes close. And anybody who's on them will understand if they've tried ours and they've tried others. You're paying for water on the market. How much water depends who you buy from. These things here, one day maybe we can share it, but humanity's not ready. These are in a very high GAN state. Our tinctures twice a day on Master Fast is all you need. And some people are taking less than a full dropper, which is half teaspoon, because that's all they need. You just take a drop of this stuff. You know, that's the way I do it sometimes. Just take a zip. I mixed 11 formulas in here from home. And you can feel them. You can feel them. When you're doing a dry fast, you don't need much. I had one dry fast, I think I shared it. I wanted to see what happens if I took more extra tinctures, and it dried me right out, man. Oh boy. So I don't advocate doing a lot of things on dry fasting. If it's an option to do tinctures, half a quarter teaspoon, which is half a dropper at the most. Even if you drew drops, you can feel them. You don't need much. You don't need much for them to do their work.
Somebody's asking, where does the sulfur from that you refer to in the eyes?
Well, it's the orangey kind of brownishy color that we see in the eyes.
Where does it come from?
We've been told it's sulfur. Do we know it's sulfur? I can't tell you 100%. This is what we're told through iridology teachers.
But where does it come from?
It comes from our environment. All the tires that are made on cars and so on and so forth are the ingredient to hold them together is a sulfur compound. It's like a super glue. So all these cars rolling around, all that's going in the air. Energetically, we're breathing that in. Number two, your foods.
Antibiotics as well.
Huh?
Antibiotics.
Yeah, foods. I was going to get to foods. Drugs. Drugs is a big one. Sulfur-based drugs that they use to what's the word I'm looking for? When you get rid of a symptom? Suppress, yeah. When you suppress symptoms. These MSM is also a sulfur. It works great. It'll suppress that symptom right into your cells so deep that you have to fast 40 days on dry fast to get it out. That's how good of a glue it is. So super glue for the cell is sulfur, is what we know. I did MSM for years. I'm going to share my eyes one day. I'm so full of sulfur. It's incredible what I have to do. Did I have that sulfur before? I probably had some because my dad has it as well. But I started doing MSM after I was already healthy, looking to get better and so on and so forth. And when you're in a clean state, I had a very, very, very pink tongue. I couldn't eat garlic. I couldn't eat onions. My GI tract was very pristine, very clean, because I was always fasting. And then I destroyed myself and so on and so forth. And I put myself in this state. So what I believe is once you clean yourself out and you start doing all these things, you bond that stuff even harder into your system. Like I put myself in that situation. So it's a nice, great challenge I have to get out of it. And that's why we avoid anything sulfur-based. You know, even the Epsom salt some people are using, it's a sulfur compound. I don't know how bad it'll be by soaking in a tub compared to ingesting it, because it works differently when you're taking it through the skin, the energies. But it's best to avoid all sulfurs. Even the grapes, some of them are containing the conventional, some of them are spraying with sulfur compounds. But also wines will have it naturally within them. When all foods have some sort of a sulfur, it's one of the elements. It's in everything in minute quantities, depending on what food, like the garlic and the onions and so on. So we'll have more in the brassica blends. When you go into fruits and stuff, that might have a little minute, depending, like even durian. Durian has sulfur in it. You can smell it, you know. But those things there, it's bound by the whole fruit through its building it, and it's not a problem for us. But if you're full like I am of sulfur and you start eating onions and garlic, it can react with you. That's why we don't suggest people use onions and garlic, especially if you have GI tract problems. It's an irritant. If you're gonna use onions and garlic, and when you go back to eating or whatever, because whatever reason you want to taste it, just use the greens. Don't use the bulbs, just to get the flavors. The greens are much milder. Yeah, just use the green, the tops, and that way there you don't have the strong issue you do from the bulb. Because even in herbology, the roots are always the strongest, right? And the leaves, and then the bark, and so on and so forth, right? So it works on the same principle.
Okay. Jordan is asking how much in each dropper, how many milliliters?
2.5, the drop, an average small dropper that we share, which is about this size. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah.
This is a 60 ml bottle. One of these droppers, 2 to 2.5 mil. Like I said,
So 2 full ones are good, right? 2 full dropper
no, 1 full one.
is for the whole day.
Oh, once in the morning, once in the twice a day.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
Yeah, our tinctures. That's all you need. Anybody else's? I can't speak. 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 times more. I don't know.
Okay. Somebody else is asking, and I is asking about what's your opinion on sexual abstinence and chi or prana or ether, whatever energy build up.
When you're trying to heal, and you're fasting, you're a lot of people will notice they have no libido. The body's not in a state to put itself for procreation. Because sex is basically designed for procreation. We use it for pleasure and so on and so forth, but it's actually designed for procreation. So when you're healing, especially for the male, it's very draining to release, ejaculate, and so on and so forth. It's basically a very strong energetic fluid created through your spinal fluid and so on and so forth. It's pure life force. So you really don't want to be doing that if you're trying to heal. And especially if you got weak adrenals, that'll be an issue. You want to redirect your energy, your sexual energy back in and use it for other things, for creativity and so on and so forth, and for healing. When you go back to eating, you rebalance out. If you wanna have more libido, you go to the heavier foods, nuts and seeds. You go back to seed. Coconut water. That's more of a food than it is water, folks. That's why we limit our coconut water. We only use it as an option if we want when we do our long dry fast. Then you start going into the garlic and onions. So that'll give you more. You start getting into the animal products. Then you're going to really, really get more into the horny states when you get into the animal products. So nuts and seeds, and the fats. The fats will do it as well. The heavier foods. The foods we need to stay away from. So, how do you solve the mentality of people raping and pedophiles and so on and so forth? You put them on a 40-day dry fast. They'll be cured easily. You remove all the shit out of them. It's really that simple. I think I've shared in my experiment in Italy. After 25 years, I never ate meat, and I decided to eat chicken one day. And holy jeez, what an experience! You don't believe me? Do the experiment. I had unreal dreams and desires that I never had for many years because it was so long that I haven't touched any meat products.
Fever.
Oh yeah, and I had a light fever that night too. It was incredible. But just try these things yourself. Don't believe me. These are just energy exchanges. When you're eating dead animals, you're going to take on all the emotion and intent because it's in every cell. Doesn't matter if it's dead. Cooking does not kill, folks. Does not kill. We've been duped. Otherwise, herbal teas wouldn't work. Why do we cook our teas? We're bringing it to higher order. I've explained before, when we're cooking foods is the problem because some of the foods have residues much more so than other foods would have. And like vegetables, if they're raw, they don't leave residues nowhere near as much as when they're cooked. And animal products is much, much worse. You know, the fruits, cooked, they leave very little residue, and raw, they leave very little residue. But they all leave residue. That's why there's so many people who've been on fruit diets mainly for many, many years, and they're still full of crap. Still full of crap. Because you're not going to solve it by eating. Remember this, folks. We don't solve our health issues by adding anything. It's about subtraction. If you just remember that line I just said, all about subtraction, not addition, you have the solution to heal yourself from anything. That's all you need to know. Subtraction, not addition. What do herbs do? They pull. I've said this before. They draw. Strong gravitational. They grow low on the ground. They draw. They pull what you don't need. You put a salve on you, pulls a tumor out. What you don't need, pulls. There's lymphatic, pulls. Everything, it's pulling. You know, poison, to draw the poisons out. This is the activated charcoal. Plasmatically, it's drawing what you don't need. That's the key to health. This is the boat everybody's missed. We've all missed it. It's so simple. And what's everybody out there doing? You need to add this vitamin and this mineral and this probiotic and this enzyme and blah, 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 blah. And you fall in that trap. As I did for a lot of years, spent so much money. And what did it do? Almost killed me. You're only going to get imbalanced through those isolated chemistries and so on and so forth that people are giving out, and man-made concoctions of vitamins and minerals and so on. Even we don't need any of that. We got everything we need within.
Swabik has a question.
Go ahead. I talked.
I got a couple. You've mentioned your weight a few times. I was just wondering, may I ask how tall you are? I just want to get an idea of like.
I'm about 5'7.5", 5 feet 7.5 inches. Right now on this fast, what did I weigh today? Just under 150. I'm usually around 160 when I'm eating. When I dry fast, and so I'll lose 5-10 pounds very quick, and then I stay pretty stable. On my last 108 days, I went down to 137, which is the lowest I've ever been. But you have to understand, prior to fasting and so on and so forth, I was around a 190-ish, 195-ish. I was always up there. And it's after years of fasting, you'll notice you won't lose weight as much as you do when you started fasting. You'll lose some. No, it's always there, especially when you dry fast. So this is a lot of water weight. But your body holds much more stable. And that's the beauty of keeping it part of your lifestyle. Because then you know that, your body's becoming more hydrated, so on and so forth. Somebody posted the other day about his water weight that he measured. I can't remember the name. He was surprised. He's 8% more hydrated since he started Master Fast. He started eating fruits a bit before. It went up like 3%, I believe he said. And then the Master Fast, he's into about a month or so, or 40 days, I can't remember. And he's at 8% more hydrated. He goes, nobody's nowhere near this level of what I measured myself at. He goes, something's working. This is what I'm talking about, folks. Try fasting hydrates you. We've been lied to. What's the other question?
The other question. Well, let me finish this one because I started. I'm 5'8", and I started at 139. I'm down to like about 101, 102. I think I plateaued finally. I'm not losing any more.
Yeah.
The time I lose is when I do my kind of dry fast.
Yeah.
Do anymore. Like I'll get to, like 24, 25, 26, and then I'm burnt out. So I'd be
You've never fasted prior, right?
This is my first time ever. I mean, I did a water fast and juice fast with all that garbage, but nothing like this.
Excellent, buddy. Just stay focused, man. Stay focused. You're, like I said, you probably are stabilized. If you're going to lose anything, you don't have much time left on it. You may lose a little bit here and there, but nothing to worry about. When you right now, anybody who's on almost done, getting ready to eat, you gotta focus, folks. You gotta get that emotion intent ready. This is going to be a key player. A lot of us will go back and try and eat the cooked food and stuff. Please stay focused. If you're gonna cheat, maybe some steamed vegetable or something, do it the proper way. Don't go to grains, one of the meats or anything like that, man. It's gonna be very, very hard on your system. It's not something you're gonna want to experiment with. It's not fun. Stay as clean as you possibly can. Fruits, green juices, green smoothies, salads, raw soups. This is where we want to stay in that realm to keep the healing happening, because it's going to continue for a few months after. If you've fasted 3 months, you're going to be, when you break it, it's going to continue. The body's going to still be healing and doing things. We've seen beautiful transformations. Michelle Gibson, she started Skin and Bones, and she went to more Skin and Bones, and she stayed Skin and Bones for months, and then she started putting on weight beautifully. And she was doing another one. Evo, he's in Thailand now. He started off very, very thin. If you're around Evo, I don't think he's on. He's already starting to fill out a bit, but he was from that malnutrition, right? Very, very thin. He started very thin. I can't remember his weight, but awesome. He had a challenge too, but once you do your first one, you concentrate on building for a good 6 months. Get your mind ready, maybe longer. It doesn't matter. Take your time, build. Continue your dry fasting and focus on your next one. 30 or 40 days. Honestly, keep it part of your life, because you can't expect one fast to solve all your problems. It's not going to happen. You're going to have a lot of issues resolved, but it's not going to completely resolve everything. And as you continue eating clean, and then you do your next, at least 2 fasts a year, 2 master fasts, 30, 40 days a year as a maintenance. You may want to go longer, whatever. There's some people on their second or third 108 days or whatever. Hey, man, whatever you want to do. It's all good. It's all good. Just think about how much money you're saving and how much better you're going to feel. Some people, a lot of people, once they start eating, they go, what am I doing eating? They regret. They want to go back on the fast because they felt better on the fast, mentally, the clarity, and so on and so forth. You'll see when you start eating again what we're talking about. And you're going to want to eat everything, and you're not hungry. It's a mind game. It's an emotion game. You're going to want to eat everything, even after you've eaten. It's like, what's going on? And if there was true hunger, how can you be hungry after you've eaten? It's not hunger. It's all about emotion, and that's where we need to focus on to bring balance in our physical body, our emotional, our spirit body. We need to bring that balance, and then the matter don't matter anymore. If we can balance that out, the matter don't matter no more. But we have influences around us, family, friends, everything else, so on, where we work and so on and so forth. Everything's influences. I had a challenge for a couple of months in this past summer, so, we're all dealing with it. I'm no different than any of you. We got to all work on it. And what makes our Facebook page so wonderful is the support. It's fantastic. Any time of day, 24 hours a day, we have somebody to help somebody. Isn't that beautiful? And we need to use it. We need to use it. That's one thing I never had. And that's, what keeps me going is you guys, with the beautiful stories you share. Everybody's, just, you guys are reading it. It's amazing stories all the time. We want the ugly too. We want the bad and the ugly. Yeah, we want that. Because we can't expand without those. We can't hide the truth from ourselves. We need to know everything. Everything. I'm not shy about anything. I want to know. Sometimes people think something is negative and ugly, but they don't have an understanding of what's happening. So we clear it up for them the best we can, because that's all it is. It's a misunderstanding. It's not comprehending what's going on. There's very, very, very few people understand what it takes to detox the body at the levels we're doing. I'm telling you, folks, very few. Even people who have done 108 days, not all of them have an understanding of what it takes and what Master Fast is. I've selected a group of admins for reasons, because I've read what and how they responded to people over the weeks and months. And I see things that people understand. I don't understand everything either. Like I said, we're all learning together. But we need to have a certain understanding to be able to help people as best we can. That's all we can do. We can guide people and help them as best we can. We don't have all the answers. But the experience of what we're doing when we go through these fasts, there's nothing better than that. There's no amount of paper that you can, no amount of tests and certificates that you can get that's going to give you the knowledge from doing 108 days. And everybody who's done one knows what I'm talking about. Right? Everybody who's done it knows what I'm talking about. Experience trumps all paper. And that's the beauty. And so for some of us, it's a huge challenge being confronted with our family and friends. We had one woman that her mother called the police on her to be taken away to get her to be forced to eat, folks. This is what we're dealing with. It's ignorance at the highest level. We can only elevate their souls of these people because they just don't know. Here we are trying to get better and healthier because we don't feel good, and we have this resistance of everybody trying to force us to stop the process. And I've come across in helping people, I'm sure other use, in people getting on the fast, they get into the fear mode because of family and friends, go to their doctor, and they're not around anymore. The doctors killed them. This has happened a few times to me, folks. This is the reality and the severity of ignorance. You can read everything I've shared with you guys, and unless you do it, it doesn't mean much to most people. Some of you that are sharp will have an understanding, and others, it takes the experience. For me, when I started, I had the concept, and I believed it, so I started, but I didn't have the experience, and I paid the price for my stupidity to not go back to the books and look at what was going there. I thought I knew, but I didn't, and that's why I ended up in bed for 2 years. So, that's the beauty of us sharing and each other's stories. It'll only help all of us. I that's what I set out to do when we started the page. I wanted a support system, and it turned out beautifully. It's growing much faster than I ever thought it would, and that has its own issues, as I talked about before. Things I really didn't want to go there, but we have to. It's neither here nor there. It just is what it is. No big deal. I'm still the same. I'm going to still share. I'm going to still give my time as best I can, whether people have money or not. It's not an issue. The issue is the legal bullcrap. that is part of our society. And if I could escape it, I would. But right now, we're all in it. Anything else? We've got a few minutes left.
Yeah, I had a question about kidney filtration.
Sure.
I filter. I mean, oddly enough, I'm like opposite of everybody else. When I first started the fast, couple days in, I already started filtering. I think it was just the old food that was still in my system. I filtered for about a month, and then I stopped. And now it's. I mean, if I go maybe 2 days or longer on a dry fast, which I can't even do anymore, I'll filter some, but I'll have to throw it in the fridge for a day, and then I'll see some sediment. But when I first started, I mean, literally, it was coming out like crap was coming out. I could see it.
How much fluids are you drinking a day total? Your teas and your juice?
I'm doing tinctures and tea twice a day, 8 ounces of tea. And I'm doing 1.5 to 2 liters of the grape juice plus the pudding.
Okay, so you're doing a little extra fluid. It's okay, don't worry about it. You have to understand, folks, when you start detoxing, all the loose stuff is going to start coming out first, right? And then the stuff that's not so loose next, and so on and so forth. Depending on what's in your body and so on and so forth. Some people may see tons of filtering for a long time, and then some cases like yourself, you're going to see a lot at the beginning, and then it starts dwindling down, and you don't see much. It's because the deeper you go, the deeper you got to go. And when we're going into these real depths, there's not huge amounts of these physical matter that we're going to be pulling out. It'll be less and less and less. Even me now, if I fast 3 days, I'll get a little bit of sediment. In the last year, I was pulling out. And in the few years before, I was pulling out and pulling out and pulling out. It's on and off. But I pulled out tons and tons of crap. It's not going to be something continuous, but there will be always something there. Even if you really don't see it, there's going to be something there, especially when you're on a fast. Like you said, you put it in the fridge and you'll see some. There's going to be something there. If you see a little bit of cloudiness, there's sediment, there's waste. And it's not only physically, like I talked, emotions will come out through our bowels and through our urine. Emotions will come out through our breath. We're dealing with all these substances that the body has to get rid of. Don't worry about it. You've come a long way. You push beyond where most people will push. Now I want you to focus on finishing it. Don't try anything crazy to do anything nuts. Break it properly, and then start focusing after a couple, 3, 4 weeks, a month. Start focusing on getting into the longer dries as you're eating and so on and so forth. And just stay with it. Keep nurturing your kidneys. If you want to keep doing a castor oil pack, keep massaging them. You're going to have to keep nurturing them so they stay in their best function they could. We're all different. Like I said, some people will filter for weeks and months and tons and tons of crap, like I did at the beginning. Not no more. And I'm not healed yet, but I'm just saying that heavy matter, that's the first to go, and you'll see at the beginning you'll see stuff like the people will eliminate a lot of the whiter fluffy kind of stuff, and then yellower as you go deeper it gets darker and darker and darker, and then you get a lot of people the red and even black. I've had black stuff coming out. So this is the depths we go, and like I said, as we go deep, we go deeper and deeper and deeper. Because you're right now, when you're on a master fast and you're doing these dry fasts, we're going deep. We're going deep. If you want to kick it up, you reduce your fluids, but I don't want you to reduce your fluids that you're going to feel, that you can't finish. I don't want you to do that. I want you to continue. Take your pace. Slow, steady. We finish the race. We don't want to go nuts on the first one. Like some people have pushed way too much on the dry fast, and they have a hard time trying to finish their 108 days. You just can't even do any dry fasting at all. So we don't want to go there. That's why we have a range of 12 hours, 24 each week, and 3 days. If you can get to 3 days, great. But we should all strive for it for at least once a month, because that's where a lot of the healing really happens on the dries. Without any dry at all, you're going to get some, but not to the depths what we're looking for. Dry fasting is as vast as the stars. It's a beautiful thing.
Am I still getting some healing even though I'm not filtering? Because
How do you feel mentally? How do you feel from when you started?
I feel very drained, like physically, mentally. I'm just worn out. I'm like basically holding on until 108. You know, like I'm.
Okay. Yeah. You're one of the few that goes through it. Some people go through that. You know, if you've seen Solomé, she's an athlete. She works out 5.5 days, 6 days a week, 5-6 hours a day. She posted. She didn't lose any weight. She gained muscle. Her performance went up. This is what we're talking about. We're all different stages. You have, I think you had some issues that from pharmaceuticals and so on and so forth. These things don't resolve overnight, but you're working to resolve these issues. And you're going to see once you start eating, emotionally, you're going to stabilize, but just be in control of your eating. You know, if you want to overeat a little bit here and there, no big deal, but do it the correct way with the proper foods. And you're going to feel, you're going to get more confident when you start eating. Because right now, you're feeling drained physically, emotionally, and it's very, very challenging. We had Joshua, who was at he reached 90 days, he couldn't take it no more. So I suggested, okay, just, break it. And he's in Thailand again, riding his bike and doing all things where his spine was so crooked he could barely sit. He couldn't sit on his rump. It started straightening out after 60 days. So these are the changes. He healed 100%? No, but he's planning on doing another one. And this is how we do it. We settle our emotion, get ready for another one. Start planning. How long is it going to take to balance out? We're all different. We're all different stages. And it's a beautiful thing. Our life would be boring if we were all the same. So we all have different challenges. And like I said, we don't have the answer for everybody, but going through these processes, we can resolve our issues. We can resolve a lot of issues. Just read people's testimonials. We can resolve a lot of issues if that's your intent and emotion. It's pretty simple, the process to do, but the challenges are, it's more emotional than anything else. And when the emotional, we have those huge stresses, it affects the physical. So this is why, I like to tell people, try and keep moving. Keep that energy flowing. The more you lay down, the more lay around, it'll be draining on you because you're not moving that lymph system. Some of us have to, but it's more draining from my experience lying around and moving around. Even if you have to force yourself to move, it will help you. Breath work, for sure. Herbs, if you need to do an extra shot a day, do an extra shot if you find they give you a boost. A little bit of just a small amount. Don't be shy on the herbs. You can do them 3-4 times a day if you really want. Twice is enough on the fast, but if you need a boost, don't be shy. Do all these things and continue. You're on the right track. It's amazing where you're at. First time, doing something like this. It's beautiful. A lot of people have done it for the first time, a big long fast like that. And it's surprising how many people have done 108 days. I never thought so many people would actually go for 108 days. Times are changing, folks. It's all good. It's all good. I think humanity is in the process of moving toward peace because I can't see humans living a peaceful lifestyle when we're so full of shit. So one day at a time. One day at a time.
Yeah, it's amazing what you'll do when you're sick all the time. I'm just tired of being sick. All I keep thinking is if I stop, nothing gets fixed. So that's what kind of keeps me going. because I've tried a bunch of other stuff out there, and this is definitely by far the best. So I have to keep going. There's no way. No, I'm not going to be. No way.
Let's put it this way: you stop, you go back to eating. What are you doing? You want to go? What for? Like sometimes I'll advocate. 108 days. You still got all these issues. Maybe you want to continue. We have Marin in Germany. He's still going. He's probably at around 300 days. He only took one small break of a week or two. Still going, folks. Living a life on Master Fast. He does a post occasionally. He's grooving, man. It depends what you want to achieve. Some people, they need to go back to eating. And that's okay. Take a break. Balance off. When you're ready, go for another one. And then again, repeat, and so on and so forth. You're going to see, you'll see, things will come to light when you start eating again. You'll find things balancing out. It takes a while to balance out, maybe a month for some people, maybe 2 months, maybe 3 months. Don't worry about it. Don't let it bother you. Just, focus. Use the foods that make you go to the bathroom, move the bowels the easiest. That's the way you break a fast. If it has to be prunes, soaked prunes, plums, prunes in it, yeah. Use them, the prunes. If it's watermelon that makes you go, use watermelon. If it's mango, if it's grape, whatever it is, whatever fruit that makes you go, because everybody has their own little secret for which fruit. That's the fruit you should be using. We're not looking for nutrition. Nutrition's a lie. We've smashed that belief system. And choose those fruits that make you go. And greens, like me, if I overdo it on certain greens, it slows me right down. I need fruit to make me go. Some people can move with greens, like a stewed spinach maybe. It might make them go. Everybody's a little bit different. But, most of us that have been through these long fasts have noticed that your bowels become super bowels. They work amazing. If you've done at least 40, 50, 60 days, your bowels are stronger. Even if you've done enemas every day. All the myths of enemas and colonics weakening you, bullcrap. Bullcrap. So use the tools, folks. They're there for a reason. And we'll call it a night. The blessing to spend time with everybody. I need more people talking. I'm running out of things to say. I'm just whatever comes through.
Sandy, you have a question? Are you raising your hand? We can't hear you. Do you want to unmute yourself?
Yeah, sorry. I'm another one who has zero energy. I'm like Slavic, where I keep waiting for it to happen, and it's probably not going to happen because I'm that toxic. But
What day are you on?
82.
Okay, you're up there. Excellent.
Yeah, and it's probably not going to get better. I don't know. But I think it's helped me to stay on it, actually, because
Are you guys, I forgot to ask, but are you guys moving your bowels daily? Lots of enemas?
I do enemas every day. That's the only way I move my bowels.
Excellent.
I don't, well, no, I've gone 6 times during the 82 days by myself. So I celebrate every time. But I forgot my question now.
Your energy.
The energy, and there is one thing that's, I'm not worried about it, but the smells of everything that I'm fixing for my family, I mean, parsley and celery and everything is just beyond wonderful. And I'm thinking, will I be okay when I do start to eat? I'm a little bit worried, but not worried. That's not the right word, but I don't want to lose what I've already accomplished, and I'm accomplishing a lot.
Yeah. The odors of the plants, which are plasmatic energy, are way more powerful than ingesting them. That's why essential oils work. And you can enjoy the feel of those plants through the odors and take on that energy instead of eating them. And one little thing I'm going to share with you guys, and if anybody wants to experiment, be careful. Because I'm going to share this to give you a different understanding of where I'm coming from. There's foods that our body will not do well on, okay? Some of us know what they are, and some of us don't. So if you want to do this experiment, be very careful, because you're gonna see what I'm talking about the next day. Let's say you have a craving for pizza or pasta, and we don't advocate eating them, right, at all. But if for an experiment, I want you to get either your pizza or your pasta or whatever and chew it. While you're on the fast, chew it. Keep your head down. Don't swallow it. Chew it very, very well. Chew it very well. Make sure whatever you do, you don't swallow anything. Spit it out. Even if you have to do 2-3 times, make sure you spit it all out and get it all out. Next morning, if anybody's tried this experiment, I want you to tell me if you feel what happened from that experiment. I can tell you my experience. You're going to have the same as actually swallowing it, because we're energetic beings, not beings of matter. Once you put that saliva into it, you're getting the feels and you're taking on the energy of that food. You don't have to believe me, and you do not have to try this. If you want to experiment only, that's why I brought it up. Because you will feel the aches and pains from those grains the next morning. It won't be at the level of actually eating it, but you're going to feel it. How amazing is that? So everything we've been taught, again, is a lie. And if you're doing that, you will kind of get a satisfaction from the flavors, and you'll feel that weirdness in your mouth for a day or two, even though you didn't swallow it. So there's some food for thought. But the energy, Sandy, this is your first long fast. You're great keeping the bowels moving, and just embrace everything that comes, folks. Embrace it all. Let those emotions flow through you of whatever you're feeling, the weakness, the tiredness, whatever they are. Enjoy the odors of if you're preparing for your family, whatever you have to do. Enjoy them fully, and just let it flow through you. You don't have to take it on. Just like this experiment I'm just telling you, we're just, instead of just taking the odor, we're tasting it in a matter kind of state to see and feel what happens. It's a good experiment if you want to try it. But
sorry.
Go ahead.
My emotional detox is just as intense as my physical. I lose it on a regular basis. Let's just say lose it. Yesterday, I just couldn't take it anymore, and I told my husband, I just can't do it anymore. Not to stop the fast, but I wanted to stop everything else. And then last night, I woke up in the middle of the night, just drenched in bed. And then this morning on my 2 enemas that I did, I can't even believe what I got out.
That's
so,
when you're releasing.
Yeah. And today I'm in a good mood.
Yeah. You'll see when you're drained or you feel wasted or your emotions are driving you nuts, there's something working deep within to be released. That's what usually the case is, most of the time. And it comes out and boof, you get a burst of energy sometimes.
If I could just remember that from each time that it happens, though. I seem to forget every time.
That's why we have the board.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Mistakes. It's all right.
That's why we have the board. And this is why I advocate enemas and colonics every day, every day. Even if you're moving your bowels, folks, it'll only help you. Minimum is if you don't move your bowels that day, you need to do one. But if you do them every day, it's only going to make your life better. Because we have so much stuff stored in us. It's hard to even comprehend. I don't even care anymore because it just keeps coming. Who cares? It's just, okay, more stuff. And you know by the smell, and the way you feel. When you release certain stuff, you can feel right away that when it's come out, you already feel better instantly as soon as it passes out of you. And people can say, oh, it's the psyllium. Yeah, okay. The spine straighten out. People start walking from being paralyzed. Cancer's going away because it's the psyllium. It's ignorance. It's ignorance.
Can I ask one more quick question? I'm so sorry.
Yep, no problem.
Usually when I have things like that, like today when I did my first enema, it made me really sick afterwards. I got all kinds of stuff out, and then I got sick. It's like everything's just kind of releasing and going through.
Yep, that happens.
Okay. And I couldn't stand up straight after that, but that happens often.
Yeah, how many, you're using enema bags?
I'm doing, I have a bucket, an enema bucket.
How much does it hold? How many do you do one after another of these buckets?
2. And it's I don't know how much is in each
so
one.
It's probably maybe a gallon at the most?
2 liters.
Yeah,
Less,
at the most.
Yeah, sometimes that happens, you should keep going.
And sometimes I do. Sometimes I'll do 4, 5, 6, whatever I need to do.
Yeah. Because there's stuff that needs to come out. You started washing it, and things started moving, and you feel it even more. That could happen like you've experienced. So you just keep going. Sometimes it may not pass, but it depends. We're all in different states. And then you get a night's rest in the morning, and you do another, and you feel amazing. It's just, that's what happens as you're fasting. Things from one extreme to the other can happen in one day. You can feel amazing, horrible, and then amazing again.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, this is fasting, folks. And you have to understand this, and we have to trust, and we have to embrace, and it just passes. If you feel like you're going to die sometimes, get the enema bag. That's always the first thing is your mighty enema bag is number one thing, no matter what you feel, if your emotions or whatever. Like I praise you guys that are preparing foods and everything for family. Like, wow, that's really crazy challenging. I don't know how you guys do it, but anyway, it's good. It's good. All right, guys. Keep on stay focused. Keep it up. Focus on breaking your fast. You guys are getting up there to the finish line, and it's great stuff. All good things. Amazing.
Thank
So
you.
we'll call it a night. Thank you, everybody, for listening to the Blabber. Hopefully,
thanks everybody.
Yeah, hopefully we resolve a few other things, and we'll learn from that. Good night, folks. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Good night. Bye.
Bye.